we have a new sponsor. And I want to give a shout out to UR. UR is one of the healthiest communities on earth. There's 4 main areas in your life that can give you an opportunity to live better, healthier, longer, and happier. And that's movements, mindset, habits, and relationships. And I want you guys, this is the call to action, download the app right now. There's things in our lives that we need in order to obviously, like I just said, live better, live happier, live longer, and live healthier. And that's, working out, having positive relationships and positive people in your life, great habits that you have to consistently do, like eating healthy, taking it easy on alcohol, drinking healthy, which is fruit juices, juicing, things of that nature, and mindset. And this app has it all. So my call to action for you all is to download the app, www.ur.app. Download it right now. But here's where we at right now, okay? We've been waiting over a month. And I'm a very impatient person. Very. I'm one of those people like, yo, fuck it. If I ain't getting you in 2 weeks, I don't want to fucking talk to you. But these are my brothers, and I understand business, and I understand that, you need time to debrief. You need time for yourself to breathe. After doing the things that they are doing, they need it. So I totally understood why it took so long. But the 2 gentlemen I'm talking about are the founders of Prahran Summer Jam, Eamon and Daniel. These 2 gentlemen are in the building finally.
Yeah, just to add to that, I was going to say, I've got an NBA players easier than you two, man. Like, yeah, dudes get Michael Jordan on the speed dial and they forget about everybody else.
Oh, hey, no, we haven't spoken to him yet. But, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, sorry it took so long, but we did have a few things to sort of sign off on, and then one thing or the other was, we're here now, and we're so glad to be here, really,
gentlemen. I want to give you guys a shout out for putting on this incredible. I mean, in the whole region, Asia Pacific, you have the biggest street ball tournament, and it is popping. I love it. As a New Yorker, I feel like I'm home every time I come to your tournament. There was times where I was missing home a lot, and it was around the February mark. And I literally came to the park, and that feeling went away. It was just joy and happiness. So that just lets you know that you're doing it the right way. I'm not easy to impress. And for me to come there and be impressed every time, you're doing it the right way. How did this journey begin?
Man. I mean, look, for us, I think you hit it on the head with New York. I grew up being obsessed with New York, and just the whole culture behind basketball, the nature of the fashion, street ball scene, and everything it brought to life. And so, growing up in Melbourne, we're pretty fortunate. This city, you can do so many things. You've got the ability, the resources, but at the time, we just feel like there wasn't anything that was celebrating street ball, like our time growing up. So just felt there was a niche in the market. Daniel and I we were playing ball, like still are, but we were playing on the street, we were playing at MSAC, but there wasn't a tournament to sort of celebrate all these things coming together. And, we were just lucky enough that we sort of knew the heads from around different basketball groups and said, hey, you know what, why don't we do something? Let's throw a tournament, put a little cash prize up and see who will respond. And yeah, we were really fortunate that we got such a great response from the basketball community that we knew, and then that's now grown into what it is today, which is wild.
Yeah, and I think our story, it sort of starts back 20 years before Summer Jam began, because me and Eamon have known each other since we were 3 years old.
That was my next question. How did you guys meet?
Yeah,
in a sandpit in kindergarten.
yeah. So, our relations our relationship's pretty special. We're not just best mates. We're brothers. So I think there's something that when you sort of do a project with someone, you have to sort of have the same North Star, and for us, not just the same North Star, but the ins and outs of like knowing when Eamon should step in, when I step in, when I step back, when Eamon step back, because together it's a team sport when you're building a project. So, but yeah, like highly influenced by Am1. Eamon was fully in the New York scene, and you should see him in primary school, like wearing Wu-Tang and Dada.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You gotta wait. Yeah.
Don't blow up your spot.
No. But yeah, I guess it's been a lifelong journey.
Oh, I mean, streetball is the essence of basketball, right? Because before anyone ever plays professionally on a court, on a hardwood, you're playing outdoors, you're playing in a park, you're playing somewhere. We know where you guys are at now, right? Like Corey touched on, you've done a phenomenal job in, growing this. But what were some of the early challenges, man, that you faced trying to put this thing together and obviously trying to attract the interest of, sponsors and, different partners?
Yeah, I think you probably touched on it just then, was finding sponsorship for it in the beginning because it was something so new. No one had known what this product was, seen it in America, and like a lot of things in Australia, it can work in America, but it takes a lot of time to work in Australia. So for us, I think one of the bigger challenges was that our community was always so strong within the basketball scene because we still played. We still play. But back then it was like we knew that we could put it together, but as things grow, there has to be paid roles, there has to be things that, won't work without money, certain infrastructures and permits and everything like that. And, even people's time. So for us, we basically created it because it was a passion project. It was never made as a business model first. It was like, let's just do this and then try and figure it out afterwards. So there were a few years where it was like, how are we going to pay for this? That sort of thing was the challenge. There's been new challenges every other year. I think that a lot of them will be people as well, like any sort of business or anything you're creating. Needless to say, it's not because someone's being bad, but someone might move away. Someone might want to have a family. Someone, people grow.
Yeah.
And so it's learning how to grow with them and then also grow the tournament around that. So we're lucky, like Daniel said before, we're brothers and we've got the same North Star, right? So for us, we understand where we're going, but not everyone shares that as well. They might want to dip in for a couple of years, give you all that they can, and then they might have to move on and they might be really tough to replace. So that's always the challenge, finding the right people and making sure that, you can continue with that. But I think, the other thing was sponsorship too. In the beginning, we had no idea how to get sponsorship, you know? But I think, that were probably some of the challenges, and it's wild because you look back at it, like a lot of these problems, and you go, damn, like 5 years ago, that was the biggest problem in my life, and now you're like, hold on a second, that's just like it's a quick tick on the list of things to do. You're like, yeah, cool. So it's ever evolving, and I think that we're going to keep seeing challenges, but that's how you grow, And I think that I'm really proud of what we've accomplished and those challenges we've overcome.
I have a 3-part question.
Oh,
And it's coming off the back of what you responded to Nick's question. How did you get the OG sneaker store on board, Foot Locker? Shout out to Foot Locker. Then, how did you get Nike on board? Then, how did you get Jordan Brand
The big dogs.
on board? Because let me tell you, as you now know, Jordan Brand don't touch nobody. They don't need anyone. Especially a grassroots tournament. They don't need it.
They don't.
So how did that come about? But start first with Foot Locker.
Yeah, I mean, I think our first 9 years running the event, our marketing budget was $0. So we ran this off the back of just pure passion and the people that surrounded us to make something special. So I think when we sort of started to take it a little more serious, then we've got not just like something to go to Foot Locker with, but we've got a system in play, and we want them to be part of it as the OG sneaker store, as Foot Locker is sort of the international sort of brand to sort of connect not just what we're doing, but in other countries and things like that. So, it's either you do something, if you're gonna do something right, and then that's sort of the same process, then with Nike, and then ultimately, I mean, Jordan is something that we would have never have even imagined. Like, this was out of the realm of our possibilities, because they've never partnered with anyone in Asia Pacific. So I think
Got to give Nav a shout out. There's some people that work behind the scenes.
There's a lot of people behind the scenes.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
There was
how, like, did you step to Foot Locker and
So-
say, look, here's what we got. We want you on board. Or did Foot Locker come to you?
we were off the
Did you
back
step
of
to Nike?
Yeah.
Or did Nike step to you?
it was
I think it's a dance.
No, it's a dance, and it happened all at the right time. And so we had just had our sponsorship deal with Under Armour, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And we were just, as we were starting to grow, people saw the potential. We engaged with an agency. We also had connections. I was doing a couple of campaigns with Foot Locker too. Just, dunk campaigns and shoe campaigns and doing some shoots. So the agency that had got me involved, I just said, hey, who's your guy at Nike? I need to have a meeting with him. And then from there, it was like, oh, he was looking for us coincidentally too. It's like, what's going on there?
He
So,
who?
Navin.
Okay.
Shout out to Navin.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Nav.
sure.
And so Nav was like just searching, and I had made that connection, sat down in front of him and went, hey man, I got this idea, this is what I want to do. But, I can't do everything myself, especially a lot of the things that, are put in front of him with, pitch decks and how this is going to work and contracts and all that kind of stuff. So I just made that connection, and he was like, let's see what we can do. So he works at Nike, but he's also handles marketing for Foot Locker through Nike, and said, hey, let's work this. It's basically going to be a Foot Locker tournament sponsored by Nike. We were like, that's dope. But how do you get better than Nike? Well, you take it a step up. You go to the Jumpman. So,
How long were you with Nike before Jordan
It was-
Jumpman came in?
first year, so we were. It was first year we ran just Foot Locker and Nike. Second year we got the Jumpman logo, and then this year was all Jumpman.
So,
Am I right?
So,
Don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. That's how it was. So it was first year. It was just Nike and Foot Locker, and we were over the moon. By
when
the
you
way,
say first year, what I'm saying is, how long has this tournament been running?
we found it in 2011.
Okay,
this
so
is,
what is that?
year-
13 years.
It was 13 years now. It was year 10, but we were looking at it as year 1, right? Because now we're
Yeah.
signed with the people that we really want to align with.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
You know?
the 9 years before that we had nothing. So
You're just working your way to
Yeah,
that point.
yeah.
Grinding.
Yeah, we had some people that want to come. Mitchell and Ness were great when, they were like, we can do uniforms, we can do some merchandise. And then Under Armour were like, yo, this is great, but we'll do uniforms and we'll do this. But they didn't, the support wasn't what Foot Locker was going to offer us. And so when Foot Locker came on, it was like, whoa, hold on a second. That's the brand that we want to align with, and Nike. And so for Nike, they were like, this is dope, but let's take it to the next level. And I think that, their push internally really helped us get to where we are today, where we're now really just, connecting with Jordan Brand. We haven't called Mike yet.
No.
Oh, he hasn't answered our phone calls.
I was going to say, I know you've got him in your phones.
But he's but we're obviously looking at it at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And like Daniel said before, it's nothing in Asia Pacific that has Jordan Brand sponsored. So we're pretty lucky in that regard. But we want to keep pushing. And like we said, it's day one. At 10 years, we're looking at it now, going, nah, it's day one again, because now it's it's just Jordan taking off. Like every day is how we look
The
at
end
it.
goal changes. Like
Yeah.
you've reached certain goals. It's like, all right, what's next?
That's for
next?
sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, was it always going to be in Prahran when you were first starting this, or was there a consideration for any other court to do it at?
Well, we grew up playing there since we were 13. So I think the setting in itself was awesome. Like, that was a sort of I mean, for us, that was sort of where our heart was in Prahran. And yeah, I think that was before even thinking about a tournament.
Yeah.
It was like we play here every single school holidays, play on the weekends when we can. And we were the young kids playing with the older guys at the time. And then it just got to the point where we were the older guys, and it was like, all right, who's doing this? No one is. It's on us. So we just just did it because we loved it, and 13 years later, here we are.
If we were at a different court when we were, growing up, it probably would have been different, and it might have been that way. But I think, come that 10 year where we finally signed on with Foot Locker, we realized, we'd outgrown the park. Like, I mean, you guys have been there, and you were there at the first one.
I've told this story to you like so many times, but I was definitely at the first one. I've still got the photo on my phone where it's just like, and then obviously because I was gone, I went to the US. I was in New York for almost 8 years, so I didn't get to come to another one until there was one just before the COVID lockdowns, right? Because that was February, and then we went into lockdowns March. So that was the first one back for me, and I just remember walking in Prahran going, "Yo, the boys have come a long way, man!" Like just to see the difference between the first one to then, and then obviously. Even more so now with what you've been able to do the last couple of years, like salute, you know,
Thank you. I think that, in terms of the location, as this thing grows, it's now grown into a national tournament, which we want to grow it into the Asia Pacific, and bring everyone here to Melbourne. I think that, you know, hosting it's really important to have the venue that can host this kind of thing. But Prahran's our home, it's our heart. We're never going to leave it. And by what we mean by there, we're still going to be down there every other Sunday. We're still going to be running all these other events that we can and connecting community to there. We've had a bit of a say in the redevelopment of the park, and that's why we had to move this year. So to redeveloping it, it's going to be the coolest park in Australia, like hands down. It was already dope with the skaters. Like they had their culture and community there. We also bought that with the basketball tournament, but we were just there every other day.
Yeah.
You know, so that culture it thrives there. And now that they've upgraded it, it's going to be insane. Like fiberglass backboards. I don't think there's any courts in Melbourne with like, you know, professional rings. And they're going to have, you know.
Why do you call it a ring?
Ring? The hoop?
That's what it is. Hoop.
That's what they call it in Australia.
You call it jelly, we call it jam.
It's not a ring. A ring is what you put on your finger.
Welcome to Australia, man. I haven't been brought up like that. It's the hoop at the hoop. Yeah, the glass hoop and backboard. Like nothing. They haven't done that in Australia, or at least in Melbourne yet. And we just scratch our heads going, why? Like, it should be there. Melbourne is going berserk with basketball right now and has been for a few years. So it's nice to see that, all right, we're starting to get recognition. Hopefully this will, you know, just be the catalyst for a lot more street courts, or at least inner city ones.
So with that said, and the success you had at the Peanut Farm, which I don't know who the hell would call a basketball court a Peanut Farm. Ring, Peanut Farm, this is some crazy shit.
Basketball singlets, not jerseys.
But the success that you've had at the Peanut Farm, there's a fork in the road.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it might be too early to have an answer, which I'm sure it is too early to have an answer. But the question that I'm asking is, next year, do you do it back at the park? Prahran Park, or do you go to the Peanut Farm again? Because the Peanut Farm, that was like Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Without the beach in the background, even though the beach was 2 streets down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it was beautiful. It was packed. It was beautiful.
A lot more room as well to kind of move around in.
You know,
well, I think that we've got to consider everything. And like you just said, so St Kilda Peanut Farm represents more your West Coast, where you got the palm trees in the background, the summer. You go down to Prahran, you got the flats in the background. It's New York City.
That's New York City.
We've got to take all things into consideration, and I think that that's the part we're at now. So, like, the reason why we hadn't been on the show is because we've been debriefing. So you got to take all the angles, what worked, what can we do better, and then look at going.
And
okay,
you don't have to answer that.
Oh, that's cool. That we don't know is the short answer.
Right.
We'll consider everything, but the Peanut Farm, you know, they like City of Port Phillip played an amazing role. Like, thanks for hosting us. It was like really, really good to be there. But Prahran, like you said, it's our home.
That's home.
It's home. So we want to make sure that we consider everything before we make our decision, but it's too early at this point.
Plus, sorry, cut you off, Nick. Plus, you would want to show off and display the new park and the fiberglass backboard.
100%.
So that'll be a big part.
Huge.
Because kids need to see that here. And basketball is still growing. It's for me, it's in its infancy stages here still.
Yeah.
I think it has so much potential to really blossom into something special, like in a lot of other countries. And for a kid to see fiberglass backboards outside, who's never seen that before, it blows their minds. There's adults that never saw that before. Yeah.
There's lights there too now, which is another thing we never had. So like an Australian summer gets hot, no one wants to play at 3:00 in the afternoon, you know, for a long while. Like, we had no choice, you know?
Right.
Now it's like there's lights there too, a full size courts, because the other one was, the basketball court was not wide enough. It was about like 1.5 meters.
Oh, it was like it was a meter.
Yeah, it was like a meter short, and so it made it real tough for the games. And like you would know when you're down there on the day, I had to walk along the sidelines as the MC, and if you was touching me, you was too close.
Yeah.
But that's the atmosphere that you sort of want. But at the same time, the players, they don't want to be running into someone's pram.
Yeah.
Which, believe you me, I've seen.
Right.
So I think getting the opportunity to have a full size court, repainting it too, because it's another thing we like to do is be able to engage with artists that can create something incredible. And the last 2 courts that we painted look so dope. So I think there's a lot to consider, but we do want to show that off, and obviously want to just be in the park as much as we can. I mean, we're getting better, not older. We're getting better now, but
Thanks.
that concrete hurts after playing on it, one afternoon. So
I've been wanting to ask you guys this for a while, and I figured today's probably the best opportunity. If you could have, right, 5, or you could have had, or still have 5 street ball players, past or present, in their prime, play at Summer Jam, who would have been?
Corey.
And that is the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen.
You want to kick this one off, Daniel?
Well, I mean, Rafe has sort of been our sort of
Skip.
our first sort of idol when we were kids.
Shout out to Skip.
Alamo. I mean, you had the Skip
Rest
versus
in
Alamo.
peace. Black Widow.
Yeah, the Black Widow. I mean, the Professor was something special.
You guys got to chop it up with him
Yeah, got to
recently.
hang out with him. What a dude.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Fest.
Yeah, man.
Good
Yeah.
guy, man.
And look, I mean, he's a crowd favorite, hot sauce. Like, he's just another
Hell
icon.
no. We ain't bring that motherfucker to the park.
No.
Ain't no fucking real street ball. Come on, man. We talking real street ball, baby.
Well, I was going to say number
That's
5.
tricks,
Corey.
baby. Nah. Hot sauce can't be on that list. I know it's your list,
Yeah.
but that ain't happening in here.
Okay, there you go.
He don't play real ball. His moves are illegal.
You're talking
Yeah.
a ball player.
Well, we're talking street ball. I mean, we're talking
you
entertainment.
can't play that type of in a game. It's
No,
all
yeah.
illegal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that
But go
note,
ahead.
Well, I mean, most of my guards for me because I can't dunk, so I'm not gonna. There's no point of me idolizing a dunker. But yeah, they're sort of the 5.
I think AO should be on that list for me. And I remember when he first came down,
Shout out to AO.
yeah, shout out to AO. He really impressed me. And this is when we were
AO dead nice.
12,
Yeah.
13 years old. And I mean, he was just
A real hooper.
real
Yeah.
hooper, and one of the best passes I'd ever seen. Like all the oops that are on the mixtapes that come from him just blew my mind. I think AO was definitely one. Yeah, Rafa, Ali Mo. I'm probably going to forget about a couple of people. Would Stephon Marbury count? Would you put him on that list?
Of course.
'Cause I would.
You know, started in the
Yeah.
He
park.
grew up in Coney.
It's your list, man. You can
There
put anyone
go.
you want on there.
I don't know. Daniel just got.
You don't put hot sauce on there. The fuck out of here.
Don't give the wrong answer. Yeah.
You can have anyone but
put
hot
that
sauce
shit
there.
Okay.
Real ball, not that trick shit.
I
Yeah.
think Stephon Marbury definitely on that list, and Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
He'd be on my
I mean,
one. I
if we
think.
pick NBA players,
Yeah, but I'm
redo my list.
I'm
yeah.
going back to who was at the Rucker, who was
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
was
true.
in mixtapes that we watched. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, some of those guys. I mean, you can't say Kobe because he showed up once.
Once, yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Jamal was actually out there.
Yeah.
For a lot of times. And I think, those guys, and I think, seconding on Daniel's list as well. They would probably be the group that I would mess with.
Yeah.
Like to see out here too.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can make that happen, man.
I'll tell you what. Actually, no. On the other one was Helicopter. Like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
where he,
I
like,
remember watching him in college.
so
Oh,
impressive. And to think
man.
about that, he's like 6'4".
Dunkers.
It was the first time I'd ever seen someone do through the legs, like in front of me. I got to put him on the list. Just he was
man.
one of the greatest dunkers I'd seen, and it was just like, wow, like really, really, that's what America's level was on. So he's saying we're premature with basketball, man. Definitely.
I think there's 2 areas where Prahran Summer Jam can elevate their game and go to a whole nother level, because that's where it's at now. The dunkers need to be international, all of them. No more Melbourne dunkers. They're not good. They're not good. And if you want your product to be dope, you need to bring in dope-ass dunkers. Okay? We ain't here with the 5 misses and all of that shit.
Yep.
Because what it does is it waters down the product.
Okay.
That's real talk. The cash pot need to be more. That's how you get
Yep.
the international dunkers to come out.
It's a long way out here.
That's right. So it's got to be worth it.
Yep.
And you need international acts to perform music-wise. Like you need like an ASAP Ferg. That's where this thing is at. You and Jordan, you have to level up all across the board. That way, everybody's leaving there overwhelmed. What the fuck did I just see at a street ball tournament?
Yeah, word. I can agree.
I mean, look, a lot of these things might be on the cards. So
we got an exclusive.
Hold on a second. We just finished debriefs.
I think like for Australia, definitely for the Summer Jam, one of the biggest draws, if not the biggest draw, is the dunk contest. And the jam eating contest. I saw it for the first time. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That guy, that guy did that shit in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's been something we've been doing from day one. Because I mean, what we like about being Australians is like, you know, taking a Mickey out of things, taking a piss out of things. So of course we're gonna have a jam eating contest at the Summer Jam. And we've been running it for years now. So yeah, we line people up.
Unbelievable.
Here's your jam, and it's like 33 degrees.
I couldn't believe it. I like this guy got diabetes.
Straight up after that.
The whole jam jar.
Yeah. Quickly. Yeah. Shout out to Foot Locker for the voucher.
He definitely earned that voucher.
He came out with a towel and spoon. And
crazy.
Up that cash prize too.
Oh my
Get the
God.
internationals in there.
We'll get some international.
Man.
But no, for real. We definitely have these points in consideration too. It's a matter of making them work too, because like you said, we are with Jordan. You want to people leave overwhelmed, but you know, there's also a journey to go along there. You know, if you get there tomorrow, what's it going to be the day after? Are we going to be able to duplicate that? Are we going to be able to keep doing that? So
it's definitely a lot of it is also to do with telling the narrative of growth. Like you don't want to get there tomorrow because
you there. Yeah. Like stop acting like y'all not there. Y'all talking like y'all year 3.
Yeah,
year 13, and Brand Jordan is fucking with y'all.
Yeah.
So y'all need to really understand what the fuck y'all got going on to understand. Yo, this who we need.
Yeah.
This what we need. Why is Jordan fucking with y'all? Y'all not whack.
Or he's
y'all
coming to the next meeting with us.
Yeah.
So if you go in on that small talk shit, they gonna just fuck you around. They're just happy to be with us. Prahran Summer Jam is popping.
Yeah,
it is the best in this region.
All right. Well, I'll see you the next meeting.
Dogs.
We're still.
What do you mean to grow? To grow? Y'all did that shit for 9 years to grow.
Yeah.
You here now.
That's true.
You here.
That's true.
Summer Jam, it's more than a basketball tournament, more than a basketball festival. It's like a cultural event now.
This shit is
I agree.
huge, B.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's still, there's so much more than just the basketball. People, like I was saying before, there's people, they pick out their outfits months before.
Straight
you know what I
up.
mean?
And
people are going shopping.
Bro, I saw it because you remember how hot it was this year.
Yep.
And I saw dudes wearing like full hoodies, and I was like, yo, this guy was determined to get this fit off no matter what.
Hopefully he's getting a photo taken, you know? Might see the girl in the crowd. Or might see the guy. That's why people want to go there too and experience that. And there's also like with 2K activations, we had a tattoo parlor there.
Yep.
36 strawberry tattoos. Shout out to Boneyard Social.
That is sick.
36 of those like this year, which I think is crazy.
That is sick.
But
well, they were booked out, so could have been more.
Yeah, it could have been more. But I think for us, it's important. And there were a lot more things going on. Like shout out to Brother Wolf, they're there. But we want to create an experience where the casual fan becomes a basketball fan.
Right.
Like you said, or it leaves overwhelmed. And then throw the music on top of that. And obviously want to provide a platform. But bringing in the guys like, you know, the heavy hitters, the guys from US, there's a bit of work that goes behind getting them in here as well, but that's our goal. And hopefully, these next few years, you really start to see that. Because the other thing, too, you put those headline acts on, you don't even want to announce them because we're already sold out. You know what I mean? Bro, there was rumors going around about AJ Tracy and Skepta were going to pull up, and I'm like, oh, man, I have to go tell my security.
They're asking how to get in.
Yeah, I had to go. I tell my security like, how many more guards you got for your company? You know what I mean?
Like, but that's dope. Like that's how it was at Rucker. You never knew who was showing up.
Yeah.
The line wasn't around the corner for no reason.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't get in, you couldn't get in. It makes it that much better.
That's what we want
Like,
to see.
I was at Prahran Summer Jam online for like 4 hours, couldn't get in. Damn, I'm going next year. 3 hours early.
Yeah.
Well, we did have more people watching it online so even with it being sold out, we still have just as many people watching
Yeah,
online.
you
Yeah.
know, streaming. And,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
it-
next
the-
avenue.
Yeah.
it's so endless, this thing.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to tell y'all, man, you guys are doing a great job. And you know me, I'm a full advocate and in full support. And I just know that it's mirroring what's going on in America,
Appreciate that.
you know? And that's not easy to do. It ain't. Because I be hyped. Like, I'm like, yo, the Summer Jam? Don't call me. NBL, I'm not working this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not commentating this day. I cannot commentate this day.
Love to hear
I'm
that.
going Prahran Summer
It's the
Jam.
jam.
Loved it. It's the jam.
It's the jam.
It's the jam, baby.
Summer don't start till Summer Jam starts.
You know what I mean?
Pretty well.
So,
Yeah. For us, that is it's the highlight. It's that pinnacle moment, you know. I think for the basketball community now that they know it too, but for us, it's now all right. People in Sydney, people in Brisbane, people in WA, people in New Zealand soon. You know what I mean? You're gonna be like,
Right.
hey, hold
Do we
on.
do the breaking or
Which breaking news?
Japan or?
Well, we're obviously we want to try and bring Japan down here as
oh,
well.
that's dope.
Like we were talking about the Asia Pacific region, we want to
Yeah.
open up and bring teams over here to compete. So we want to own this space.
That's
and
right.
We've got the ability to. It's just a matter of that journey and making sure it's done right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we were saying, you can get there tomorrow, but it might all fall apart. If we build it the right way and the structure's there, then hey man, Japan's gonna be here every year. You know what I mean? I look forward to that. That's our goal, really. So yeah, eventually. But now, people in Sydney. Do you know how many people from Sydney were at the jam? Or at least I was walking around and like, oh man, I came down from Sydney for this. I'm like,
Yeah,
sick.
Yeah, I met a couple of people as well. I was like, "What? You came down just for this?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, that's crazy."
That's
Yeah.
that's sort of that's like a hey, we're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're doing it the right way. You're staying true to yourselves, man, which is, always great.
We want to make sure that those guys are coming down every year and going like, yeah, that was worth it. You know?
I mean, that's the team that won the championship this year.
Breakdown, yeah, hell yeah, Breakdown won it. Shout outs to Nay and the crew
Nay.
up there. Like,
Yo, that championship game was super lit. I mean, it got to a point where there was a barrage of 3-pointers being made.
5
They
oh,
hit,
it was
they
fun.
hit, they hit.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
game was lit.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah,
Fijian Prince came through.
yeah.
He came
Yeah,
through.
he came
He
through.
came through.
Yeah.
Really did, man.
Big.
It was crazy to see, and just I think the way the games are structured too, because they are shorter, just to fit that many games in on the one court.
Yeah.
When teams can play and there's money on the line, like the game should be good, and they are every year.
Yeah.
That like the whole even the lead up, all the finals, and the women's finals too was close. This is
Yeah,
the first
the
year we had
women's finals.
First year we had
Both Sydney
5-5.
teams won it.
No, it was Hoops Capital.
Hoops Capital.
So shout outs to Big Macker and
Yeah.
everything he's doing.
Is
That.
Hoops Capital a Sydney team?
It
Yes.
kind of is because
Yeah,
That's
kinda
what Hoops
is.
Capital is
but,
called.
but
Yeah,
the,
Sydney,
the,
right?
the
Paul
Melbourne
Smith.
Melbourne players.
They're all the Melbourne players, and Liam. So because Liam, who runs it down here, the Melbourne faction of it, he
Okay.
like they've had success in the Summer Jam here, but we never had like the Sydney part of it come down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is Sydney, but it was really all like a Melbourne team. But yeah, the first year we had the female 5-5, and it was man,
It was dope.
It was so sick to see.
It was dope. It was
But
dope.
the
Shout out to
competition
the
was tough.
females
Hell yeah,
that came down and put it down.
20K up grabs for them too. So. Even split on a cash prize.
Yeah.
That's why we were taking it slow. We couldn't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
bit of money coming out of the budget.
I have another question. I know you guys got to go, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. But you guys took a team to France. The K54 tournament, which Brand Jordan has been a sponsor of for forever.
Yeah, 20.
That is actually that's the best street ball tournament right now in the world, I would say. I would say that. Even though it's just a weekend, New York, we do it all summer.
Yeah.
But the way, the level of K54 and the impact of K54 globally, I would give them the nod as the best street ball tournament in the world. Now, you guys went over there. Tell us about that experience on and off the court in Paris, France.
Yeah, it was special for us. I mean, we've been big followers of K54 for the last since we started our tournament. So, it being a Jordan brand event, they're not just street balls. You're playing against pros. Like,
Legit,
yeah,
Legit pros.
These guys-
legit pro.
We
Yeah.
played against Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
We basically our first game was against the national team of Ivory Coast. So like, there's no chumps there. Everyone from start to end can play. So, but we were lucky enough to have an all-time starting team with Chris Goulding, with Ben Eyre, with Nelson, with Tane Samuels.
Yeah,
there's
we
a whole
had
list,
a
but-
decent squad when we were
Yeah.
going over there. I think that we got shook in the because it was one game knockout, and we got shook with the help rule, and they play it very much like the NBA.
Yeah, we're up the first half of the game, and then
There's no help defense over there, which is like street ball, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's street ball, not like
So-
street ball. It's
It
street
is.
ball.
It is, and it was. We just got jumped. I think if we ran it back and played another game, we'd have a better chance and probably win it. But
we got 5 techs. Put it that way.
yeah, we got 5 techs. You got a technical, and all of a sudden in a 16-minute game, you get 5 techs. Turn things around for them. But just to see the standard, but also to see how everything was just key 54'd out. The branding was absolutely everywhere, and that's not just at Roland Garros where it was this year. Which, by the way, it's a 5,000 people stadium, so testament to them. Like they're selling that thing out. There's a line around the corner for it. This is Paris. You're going through metal detectors and everything to get in. Like, it's crazy. But to see that crowd, to see how many people are wearing this stuff all throughout the city too, and Foot Locker blowing it up over there, that's the sort of benchmark you're looking at going, yeah. Man, they released 3 retros in the Key 54 colorway, which is unheard of, you know?
They had Doncic there, Tatum there, Zion was there.
Yeah.
They had all the, even Jordan was in Paris at the time. Unfortunately, there's riots that when we were there were riots. I mean, people were breaking into Nike stores, stealing all the gear.
Yeah, the
It
Nike
was
store got broken into.
Yeah, it was full rated, so he could only move limited with his plans in Paris. But you had the big names there. It was basically a massive spectacle that for us was a dream come true.
Yeah, look, for the two of us as ball players, going to train, we had a couple of days of training. We're like, damn, hold on. I'm on a call with Chris Goulding. What happened here? You know what I mean? But that was incredible. And then sharing those experiences and going out to dinner. And,
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, shout out to Chris. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I think the biggest thing was just building the relationships off the court was awesome. Like some of the best experiences outside the Eiffel Tower with some of the legends in the game playing in our team. That was like a once in a lifetime opportunity for us as fans of the game. Being in Paris from Australia, like we would never have thought this opportunity would happen. So yeah, we're just grateful that we were there. Yeah.
Super grateful for that.
Dope.
Definitely remembered for the rest of my life.
Well, I know you guys got to go. I am grateful. We are grateful for your time. Real dope interview, giving us the insight of everything about what's going on with you all and Prahran Summer Jam. And we look forward to following you on all the socials. Spread the jam. Hashtag spread the jam. And thank you guys for your time, man. Nothing but love, yo.
Appreciate it.
Always. Just remember, no hot sauce.
Hey, it's right
No
back
hot
at
sauce, B.
right back at you
We don't
two
do that
boys.
shit.
Yeah, it's always an honor, man, when we're in the room. So getting a chance to talk on what we love and do, and on this platform too. Like, thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Peace.